Good afternoon. How you doing, Dr. Godman?
I'm well. I'm well. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
Thank you so much for allowing me to come in and interview with you concerning my class with Dr. Teray, Community and Media. I'm just want to ask you a couple of questions,
Okay.
and I'd like to get your thoughts and to help us better understand the concept that we've covered in class.
Okay.
Um, One of the questions, if you would, just start out telling me who you are, what you do, about your church, anything, your denomination, whatever you'd like to tell us.
Okay. I am Willie Godman. I am this year a 33-year senior pastor at my congregation. And I woke up one morning and it was 20 years, and another morning I woke up it was 25, and another was 30.
Wow.
So now 33. So been doing that, and I was a child prodigy when I started. Wink, wink.
I could tell.
As well as teach here at ITC in the area of psychology, religion, and pastoral care, pastoral counseling. And of late, in the last 4.5 years or so, working in student support services. So that's me.
Awesome.
Me.
Well, thank you very much. What is your denomination?
I'm Baptist.
Baptist.
Baptist born, Baptist bred, Baptist to the day I'm dead.
Amen, amen. Die hard. I like that about you.
Yeah.
Well, if I could ask you just a couple of questions
Okay.
concerning our class and the things that we've discussed. How important are the crosses, communion table, candles, banners, pictures of Jesus in your place of worship? Will anyone notice or care if you move them, remove them, or change them?
I would say significantly what's important is and this is pretty much what it is to be Baptist. What is important is the pulpit lectern and the communion table. And so, and yes, they would be quite disturbed if I moved them or shifted them around. And it would be part of that, I would assert, is the kind of instruction I've given them over the years, that they are significant symbols for who we are and what we are about as people of God. The teaching place, and not that teaching doesn't happen other places, but there's a primary place, a primary location that has been designated to ensure that instruction happens. A primary location been designated to ensure communion happens. And so that's fundamental to Baptist. We have a cross, but it is not in the front, it is in the back, above the exit door, the way as we go out. So that was placed there to remind us what we are to do and who we are when we exit those premises. So if someone moved them, yes, it'd be somewhat disturbed. The cross might not be so much, but the communion table. Funny story. I always tell a story. Years ago, there was a bouquet of flowers, plastic flowers, that sat on the corner of the piano in our congregation. And so somebody messed around and moved that bouquet of flowers without knowing where they came from, why they were there, why they sat where they sat. And so went in cleaning, and that was a good idea. Dusted, move it around. And the next Sunday came in, and it was such an uproar.
Oh my goodness.
And so I told them, go find those flowers and put them right back where they were. And let them stay there. And they stayed there for about another 10 years, and then we just kind of moved them silently.
What was the significance?
It was placed there by one of the parishioners' sisters.
Okay.
A sister of one of the parishioners who was deceased, and it was placed there in memory of some family folk. And so the sister, the placement was long deceased, but the other sister was a member of the congregation, and so she was still, you know. So now I don't know where those flowers are now. They are gone the way of the dodo.
Well, I guess as people
Bless it.
move on, we can move on those icons that
Yes,
they
yes.
cherish. So, and you talked about the importance of your communion table as well as your pulpit. Is it so that don't even touch it, or?
It can be touched, and we move to the place where other persons, non-ordained persons, can occupy the pulpit space.
Oh.
And speak from that lectern.
Yes.
And that's been a growing place and space. The pulpit that we work with, communion table, it's pretty stationary. Other people can handle. We've now grown to the place where non-ordained persons can handle communion ware, but the ordained folk still responsible for handling the communion elements. And so we have non-ordained persons to ensure that the linen and the communion ware is in place and clean and everything. But it's still the responsibility of the ordained folk to manage the materials of communion. And so, and then that whole space is still their responsibility.
Does it matter whether they're men or women?
Doesn't matter. Now, it doesn't matter. Now, the space occupied by most of the folk in the congregation, they still delegate communion setup to the men.
Okay. That's interesting.
They delegate that to them, set that up to the men, and they designate up, and they also use kind of this one person, so he's kind of has taken it on, so they expect that one person to get it done. So.
Well, interesting. The women can serve your food or your regular food, but not the communion. That's
Well,
to the men.
And it's not an order.
Okay.
That's how they have decided
Just decided.
amongst themselves. Now there are men and women who participate in communion
All right.
because they have women deacons, and so they participate in dissemination and all like that. But the clean up and the straighten out and set up and all that, let the men do
Let
it.
the men do it. All right. Awesome. I want to move to another thought. In our class, we each had an article we had to review.
Okay.
And my article was talking about fashioning the body, and it was part of the Daughter of the Dust series that we covered. There was a question within that article that really made the class have a full-blown discussion, and it was about, are we what we wear, or do we wear what we are? Is as Tarnisha, a classmate of mine, brought it out. But I think the overarching question, based on the article, is what if we really are what we wear? What does that mean for ourselves, our community, for our self-development? Clothing in Black life and Black spiritual life. From my remembrance and engagement have always